Are you guys ready for the show?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Nope, 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 nope. Are you really ready for the show?
Yes,
Yes.
we
Yes.
are ready.
All right, let's go. Let's get started. Yeah, I like that. That's good. That's good.
Very nice.
What's up, everyone? How you guys doing today?
Good,
Good.
good.
We're
Good.
good.
Yeah, we got a packed house today. Wow.
Right. And my cat can't stop dancing.
I know.
And
I was
Scott,
ready.
listen, I'm just excited. We're talking about one of my favorite subjects right now. I'm
That's
just so
right.
excited. So
Well, I'm excited. You guys are excited. Everyone is excited. But we have a guest here with us today. I think it's only fair before we dive into everything else for us to introduce her. So, Patty, would you do us a favor and introduce Pascal to everyone?
Sure. Pascal Hilaire is our wonderful um Pascal owns Explore Haiti, which is a touristic event planning organization. Pascal currently lives in Haiti, but I know at one time, Pascal, you yourself were a diaspora from Canada. And Pascal is actually sister to the former Minister of Tourism, Stéphanie Vildor. And Pascal, please help me introduce you because you've done so much for Haiti as well.
So, bonjour tout le monde, bonjour et tout le monde qui a participé, bonjour diaspora nous yo, bonjour Mondi, bonjour et Patty, et que moi vin parler en pile ces derniers jours et avec Patty sur toute situation et Haïti que nous avons confronté aujourd'hui. Donc, nom c'est Pascal Hilaire, moi fais partie de comité exécutif et association touristique haïtienne. Et qui aime représenter et membres intermédiaires qui comprennent tout opérateur, agence de voyage, tout réceptif. Et moi-même, quand je partie dit, moi, j'ai deux entreprises, une qui est Explore Haïti. Donc, depuis que je viens en Haïti, nous prenons soin de route du moment qu'on arrive à Haïti jusqu'au moment qu'on est parti. Donc, ou besoin de visiter Haïti, ou besoin de faire événement, ou besoin, whatever, ou besoin de faire en Haïti, nous prenons soin de ça. Et pour la compagnie que nous venons créer avec ligne aérienne haïtienne, que nous tous nous connaissons, ou nous devons connaître, que nous avons une ligne haïtienne qui est Sunrise Airways, qui a essayé par tous les moyens de connecter nous avec Caraïbes. Nous espérons que bientôt, nous avons une ligne aérienne, nous avons des vols sous les États-Unis. Mais son ligne aérienne qui est connectée nous avec Cuba, République dominicaine chaque jour. Et c'est une ligne aérienne tout qui connecte nous régionalement. Donc, nous avons vol sur Haïtien, nous faisons vol sur Jérémy, nous vol sur les Cailles, ce qui sont grandes nouvelles pour diaspora parce que ça permet nous vivons en Haïti, nous voyons nous sur l'autre vol sur Jérémy, Cap Haïtien ou au Cailles. Donc, c'est ça, Pascal Hilaire, et moi, très, très, très content avec nous tous aujourd'hui. Je n'ai pas de drapeau haïtien sous moi, mais le drapeau haïtien est dans le cœur moi. Ça fait longtemps que je travaille pour, et que nous tous nous travaillons pour Haïti. Moi, c'est ton diaspora dans le Canada. Moi, comme ça veut dire, là, dit son diaspora. Il y a une connotation positive, une connotation négative, tout. Mais on toujours essayer de prendre une connotation positive là, parce que sans diaspora, Haïti n'a pas existé. Allô?
Awesome. So she does tourism, a lot of tourism. She's been a diaspora as well, and there's a negative connotation as well as a positive connotation to that. But she holds Haiti in her heart, and we're gonna discuss Haiti today. It's gonna be where we have French and not French and Creole and English, but let's go ahead and start.
Yeah, for the most part, the show is in English, and we want to apologize for those of you who don't speak any Creole whatsoever, in case you get lost a little bit during the conversation. But we're gonna do our very best to make sure that we keep the show going in English. So, as you can tell, today's show is about Haiti. I'm sorry.
Monday, I'm sorry. I had to interrupt when she was saying that Haiti's in her heart. I mean, the song that came to mind, I don't know if y'all remember it, Tatted on My Chest, Yes, I'm a Zoe. Tatted on my chest, yes, I'm a Zoe. So I'm just saying, you may not have the drapo, but Haiti's in your heart. You are representing.
That's right.
From South Florida. It's so funny. Only people in South Florida know that song.
Tatted on my chest, yes, I'm a Zoe. I just had to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, as funny as it is, unfortunately, the topic or the conversation we're going to have today is actually not a fun one at all. Um, those of you who've been watching the news, or at least on Instagram and on Facebook, you can't help it to see an overwhelmed presence of Haitian flags, sac passe, free Haiti, and hashtags and so forth. And so it is only fitting for us who are Haitian to come together on this platform, on the Remedies platform, to address what's happening in the country. And so I want to begin the show by playing a short video of someone that I think did an amazing job explaining what actually is happening in Haiti in just a short amount of time. So let's listen.
What is happening in Haiti? We've all been seeing the hashtag Free Haiti pop up on our timelines, but what does that really mean? Here's a quick explanation from an actual Haitian. Haiti's most recent political unrest is due to disagreements on when Jovenel Moise's term as president should end. The political groups who oppose his presidency argue his 5-year term should have ended on February 7th of this year, 2021, while those in favor of his presidency agree the chaotic election process that led to a provisional president for 1 year meant that Moise wasn't actually sworn in until 2017, meaning his term should run until February 7th of 2022. So, why is there so much violence over the difference of a year? Well, under Haiti's current constitution, a president is not allowed to serve consecutive terms in office. But this year, Haitian authorities released a draft of a proposed constitutional change that would allow President Jovenel Moise to seek re-election, keeping him in office for another 5 years. If passed, there would also be other major changes to Haiti's constitution and the framework of government. If you're Haitian, you understand the deep-rooted political failures that has plagued Haiti for decades. You know this debate is not so black and white. Like most governments, corruption is no stranger, but the level of corruption and greed within all the branches of Haiti's government has debilitated the process that every country needs to build the very necessary infrastructure. You know, things like waste management, water, sewage, electricity, exports, imports, housing regulations. For decades, the government has neglected some of the most basic things a country and its people needs to survive.
All right. Well, while we're doing the show, I want to make sure that because I'm getting conflict of interest, I guess. Some people are telling me that the show is not live, so I'm not sure what's going on. It says we are live right here, so please double check for me as well to see whether or not this is happening um, before we continue. Yeah, we are live on Facebook. Please double check. It shows that we are live on Facebook. How are we doing on YouTube? You're mute.
I see it on YouTube. I see it
I
on
got a
YouTube.
text message saying it's live on YouTube.
Okay, so
Yes.
we are live on Facebook and live on YouTube. Okay, so um, you guys can try it again if you're having problem logging in. Just go to the remedy page on Facebook. If you are watching and not sure where to go, um, you can go to the remedy with PD and you will find the link. And it's also on the Pastor Dawsonville if you are looking for it as well. All right. Sorry about that. So let's dive into this, guys. So this is what's happening right now. Haiti is out of control. We all know that people are suffering. It's unfortunate, but kidnapping has become the country's biggest growth business. Um, the government administration, to me, in my opinion anyway, remains captive, unable to do anything to bring peace and tranquility into the country. Gangs are making demands, and they want the president to be removed out of power. And according to what I've seen so far, they are not going to stop until it happens. Um, while all this is happening, the Haitian people, of course, are suffering in so many ways. Um, what are your thoughts right now, as you know, the past 2 or 3 weeks, as we have seen what's been happening? Um, what are some of the feelings that rose into your heart as we watch this thing unfold before our very eyes? We'll start with you, Pat. You're on mute.
This has been an issue that's been going on for a while, and I think that specifically as Haitian and you're in the diaspora, you there's some kind of immunity, unfortunately, that you kind of build for what's been happening in Haiti, specifically in the last 30 years. You're like, oh, you know what? It's Haiti. It's going to get better. Um, but unfortunately, we are seeing more and more, specifically from 2018. It hasn't gotten better. It's getting worse. The poverty level in Haiti as is unspeakable, and it's getting extremely scary. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she called me the other day when you put the ad on and you put "NOU BOUKE," and she knows a lot of Creole. And then she called me and she said, "Mom, why? What does that mean, "NOU BOUKE"? I thought it was "no fatigue." And I said, "Yes, fatigue is what you say when you're tired." I said, "You've never heard of "NOU BOUKE" because it's what Haitians say when they're like, I can't take it anymore. We're tired. Something must be done. We're fed up. It's the word for it." So this is where we are as Haitians. We are fed up. This is a country that's always, for the longest, had some poverty, and we as Haitians have been resilient. We find a way no matter what. But then when you have people that can't come out of their neighborhood, when kids can't go to school, when the person who's trying to feed their family is kidnapped and asking money that they know these people don't have. This is a humanitarian issue. And to be honest with you, I, for once, am extremely tired of it.
Yeah, Cynthia.
Well, I can agree with Pat. Yeah, the whole saying "no bouquet," we exhausted. And the country has been this way forever. I mean, I was born in Haiti. I don't remember a time when in Haiti, you can reminiscent on the time that it used to be okay, it used to be better, but now it's horrible. I have a sister in Haiti, and we send money. We're trying to help her, but there's this app called it's a Haitian app where here the diaspora can send money. It's not money, food. So they have different um, stores where you can go and pick certain things, and then they drop the groceries at their house. And recently, I was trying to send her some groceries, and every last one of them is closed. And she was telling me somebody that she knows, not personally, but a friend of a friend. The guy is, he's suffering. He's hungry. He has two kids between 8 or 9, or 5 or 6, around this age. he hung the children and hung himself because he cannot feed the kids. He cannot see them suffering. So we're at a point that the Haitian government needs to do something. I'm not for the continued violence, of course. That's how we gain our independence. It shouldn't be always coupe tête boule caille, you know, for people, for the government to hear us. But something has to give. I'm not sure where we can start, but I feel like if more people talk about it, more people cry about it in the diaspora, and not only in the United States, but other countries that there's a lot of Haitian population, I think something has to be done. Because at what point does a nation is still suffering? We are in 2021 that to go outside, you may not come back. To leave to go to school, to leave to go to work, you may not come back. There's no other place. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other places, but I don't know of them. But this is my country. I have people there. I have family member there that at one point they're going to kidnap them and you have to give a ransom that you don't have. So I think something needs to be done.
Chaos?
Yeah, so I'm torn, as everybody would be in this type of situation, but it hurts me a little bit more. As my brother Lewis joins in, I'll say what's up to him. The reason why is because as you see me decked out in Haiti gear, and I will talk Creole with whoever. The first time I find out somebody's Haitian, I'm quick to want to talk Creole with them because I'm just so proud of the heritage. The sad part is I was born in Brooklyn. I was born in New York. I'd never been to Haiti because of the conditions of what the homeland is. And it hasn't changed, in my opinion. It's some parts are good, some parts are bad, and things are just continues to get worse, where my family several times wanted to go with me. My mom has expressed this before, but there were kidnappings happening. The earthquake hit us around 1 year that I was going to go as well. So it just sucks that I want to go enjoy my country, and because of the condition of policies and the government and the people, that I'm not able to have that enjoyment. I mean, I'm Haiti till I die. Like I'm Zoe till I die. Just like Luby said, like it's tatted on me for real. And people will probably laugh at me and be like, "Yo, you fake Haitian. You never even been there." And it's like I see Rudy about to laugh at me already. You see what I'm saying? Like I really am dying to go, but I just continue to pray and hope for change. And any way that I could possibly help that change, I'm all ears and I'm 10 toes down to try to do that from my seat. And if I got to work hard to connect people, I want to, because I don't like the fact that Haiti is still living how we live it. We've done so much for the world in itself, for not to get anything in return. It kind of sucks.
Yeah. Well said. Woody, your thoughts? You're mute.
Okay, I have a couple different thoughts. One, I think, and I know that we're going to talk about Haiti and the Constitution in a bit. While I'm not saying I believe that this president should stay in office, I do think that it is crazy for anyone to think that any change is going to be able to happen in one presidency.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think that the Constitution needs to be looked at. I'm not endorsing this president, but I think that to think that one country that has been dealing with the corruption and outside agitators, which I hope we talk about as well, for as long as Haiti has been, to think that one administration or one term can fix the country is not a fair dream, thought, or assessment. Number two, and so Kels, this is where I'm going to, and anyone else, I have been to Haiti. I have a friend who is partying it up, who's not Haitian. She's African American, who is partying it up right now If we are going to wait for Haiti to get to a perfect place or a good place, then you'll never go. People travel to other countries all the time that has, like, we hear about kidnapping and cartels in Mexico, but everybody was in Tulum. Everybody was in Tulum. We hear about gang violence and stuff in Jamaica. People have gone to Jamaica. We hear about what's happened to specifically women in Dubai or what's happened in Israel. And so I think one of the things that happens is because we are Haitian, we consume Haitian news and Haitian things differently. We think that that's the entirety of Haiti. My brother just got back on Sunday. And so while there are things that are going on in Haiti, there are different parts where there was no manifestation in Okap. There are stuff that sometimes you can go to other parts of the country and enjoy yourself. And it is important for us as Haitian Americans to go there because they need that money. Tourism is what helps. That's why I'm glad Pascal is on the show and she can speak on this. Tourism is what helps those other developed countries get money into those pockets. So it's not just sending money in barrels and whatever else you can send. When there's a big tourism like boom, you know who eats? The merchants, maids, chauffeurs, taxis, bus drivers, all of those tertiary things have benefits to it. So I look at what the president of Ghana did. I think it was 2019, where it was the movement of Return to Ghana, and they got $1 billion worth of business to a country that a lot of people weren't even like linked to. So I think as Haitian Americans or as Haitians in the diaspora, when we say diaspora, we're saying all over, right? That we need to do a better job of finding out and being proactive and going to the country that we're so proud to wear on our chest and be tatted and really get to see that country. Because what you see on the news oftentimes, which I know we'll talk about as well, is what the poverty, the poor parts, the famine, and all of this other stuff. But I mean, like, they have untouched tap beaches that I have non-Haitian friends who are telling me how they love and where they've gone. There's a whole island that they have that is a green island, right? It's an eco-friendly, like, green island that a friend of mine showed me, like, pictures of her on the beach and like all of her friends, and not one person in that picture were Haitian. So we have to do a better job on not only just like wearing it again on our chest, but going there and seeing those people and looking them in the eyes and helping our country. So that's just the start. I'm not like coming for anybody, but there you go.
Yeah, but you did.
I did, but I didn't. You know what I mean? I did, but I didn't.
It's okay.
I don't got glue on, you know, I can still rap, like, you know. Like,
it needed to be said. Well said, though.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Again, we just want to gather your thoughts as we reflect on what we have been watching for the past 2 weeks. So, the ladies, Wendy and Melody, your thoughts?
So like Uncle Marco, me and Wendy have never seen Haiti before. And it's like I feel like it's, for me at least, it's part of my identity that it's very easy to feel disconnected from, because it's not like outside of my family. It's not really what I grew up around. And church was really like what impacted our connection to Haiti. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's easy to get lost almost in all the information that I'm gaining recently, because I didn't consume Haitian media up until this started happening. And I've always wanted to feel closer to like being the ideal Haitian. Like, I don't speak Creole. I don't understand Creole that well. So I think it's been like a lifetime struggle for me to feel connected to my homeland. But at the end of the day, like, I understand that that's my homeland and I want to do whatever I can for it. And obviously, like, there's always something going on in America that affect us and affect the people that we're around. But I think to take the time out and to really think about the people who we want to go back and see and the family that we have in Haiti is incredibly important as well. Yeah, we had the same experience. As someone who doesn't really speak, like, we don't speak Creole, I honestly don't understand it that well either. Growing up in like predominantly Haitian churches, it what really grounded me to, I guess, Haiti, you could say, like having Haitian Independence Day and we're all celebrating, the history of our country, even though I never was able to go there. And of course, we try to make plans, but sometimes it can fall through just based on what's going on here. I've always just had a deep love and appreciation for Haiti and the people, even if we're in America and we're able to just share our experiences with one another. So hearing what's going on in our country again, it can feel, maybe because I'm in the US, I'm a little desensitized to it at times because I'm not living through it. I'm like, well, we're going through another thing again, but we'll be able to push through. Like maybe, we give funds, whatever may need to be done, we'll be able to push through. But for the people that do live there, for my family that still lives there, I'm like, it's exhausting for them to constantly have to push through. Why are they constantly going through political strife and essentially warfare on home? Like they shouldn't have to worry about when are they going to get groceries, or what if they get kidnapped and their family can't pay a ransom. It's just sickens my stomach.
Okay. All right, Luby, and then we'll take Louis, and then we really need to dive into this, guys. Go ahead, Luby.
I mean, I had an opinion, then Rudy just shut it down. So there's that. No, but
what I do. I'm just
so I have mixed feelings. My parents used to take us to Haiti every summer when we were younger. So that's something we looked forward to. They would take us there with our grandparents and they would come back to the States, and that's where we stayed the whole summer. So we I'm speak for me, have appreciation and a love for Haiti. I really dive into the culture when I went to USF and joined the Club Creole, and it's like made me have a more of appreciation for Haiti. And then when I went off to law school in Michigan, people didn't know what Haitians were. They were like, oh, you're Haitian? I thought Haitians looked like this. It was like, they're all types of people. So it was a joy for me to school people on what Haitians were in the culture. And you say, oh, you speak Haitian? No, I speak Creole. We are Haitian kind of stuff. So I love to show the culture. At the same time, we stopped going to Haiti because of all of the troubles that was going on. Our family was mostly in Port-au-Prince. So my mom just kept us away from that. And my husband and I wanted to take our kids to Haiti because I don't think my husband has ever went. So we're going to go with family and then with our family here. And with all that was going on with the kidnapping, you get torn because I know that what makes news is when it's sensationalized. That the most gory of them all, like the worst of the worst, is what they take. I know that. So I'm like, well, it's just what they show. They show you just a small piece, but that's not all of Haiti. But at the same time, I also have my mom who is here with me, and she is constantly getting calls from people who are in Haiti, and she is close to tears every single time, where she's like, this person we know got kidnapped. We don't know that we've heard got kidnapped, and this person is waiting. They sent this person to school and this person got kidnapped. And it makes you kind of, your heart stop, that knowing that this is the trouble that's happening in Haiti. We still have family that's there. And I can't even imagine sending my kids to school or my husband going to work and wondering if he's going to come home or if they're going to come home, or if a note is going to come home saying we need X amount, and knowing we ain't got this money. But because they know that they have family in the US, everybody thinks everyone in Haiti, people in Haiti thinks that people in the US is living large. And listen, we're struggling, but this is not what they see. So they're making their demands, and it's just scary. So I have mixed feelings. My kids don't speak Creole, not because I don't want them to, it's because my husband and I don't speak Creole to each other. I tell my mom, you need to speak Creole to them, and she go ahead and speak English to them. So we try to teach them the culture, but at the same time, it's a struggle for me because I want to be able to help, not knowing how to help, feeling like when you do send money, you hear stories of it never got to where it needed to go. You send provisions, and then you get something on CNN where they show you a warehouse full of all the stuff that was sent that never got to the people. So you just don't know who to trust. You don't know. You just don't know. So I feel like I wish I could do, but I can't. So I don't know what to do, is just silently pray. I'm just torn. I'm all over the place.
And thank you for your honesty. Pascal is here today, and before the show is over, we're going to get a good sense of what we can do, what we should be doing right there in the meantime. We're going to go quickly to Louis. Welcome, Louis. Welcome. You got your 2 minutes.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you letting me join, being the only person on the show with no genetic ties to Haiti. But, my wife is from Haiti, and that makes Haiti and everything that's happening there a part of what's going on in my life. So after that warm and loving introduction of myself today, I'm letting you guys know I'm here to come at all of y'all today, and I'm coming hard. And the only thing that I ask in return is, before you defend yourself, think about the question. Kels, I'm coming at you first. And I'm going to ask somebody else on the show to do me a small favor. If someone could check out online, what is the population of Haiti, and what are the most recent numbers documented for murders in the entire country of Haiti during any calendar year? Because I am confident that there are at least 5 cities in the United States that have comparable murder numbers. So that's not a reason to not go to Haiti. As a matter of fact, I am confident that the borough of Brooklyn, 1/5 of New York City, has had comparable murders annually to the country of Haiti at least once in the last 25 years. The point that I'm trying to make is not to get at Kels. The point that I'm trying to make is, stop letting other people tell you how to feel about your motherland. I have been telling my wife for decades to go back to her home. For decades to go back to her home. I respect what Luby was saying about I don't know what to do. The reason why it is difficult to find an institution that teaches Latin anymore is because everyone stopped speaking Latin. So speak Creole to your kids. Start there. Because if there are 10 people like you, Creole is a dead language in 100 years. If you let the historical infrastructure die, it will. And you are the people. You're the ones who keep it going. It dies. It's going to be gone. It's going to be dead. This is not a simple problem. But you'd be surprised how simple the solutions are.
Yeah. Thank you, Louis. Thank you for your 2 minutes. I want to say this. I want to say this. We're going to save the queer conversation. We're going to say the queer conversation for another show, because I think we have a real discussion that we want to do today, which is very important. We have a guest here, Pascal, that we asked her to be here so that she can really help us figure out the most important stuff. So, Louis, your points are well taken, and we will definitely come back to have a conversation about why is it that a lot of Haitian who have kids or second generation or third generation do not speak that language. And there are pros and cons to it. And there are people who really believe it's not that important for my kids to learn it, and that's it. But we'll leave that for another show. What I want to know right now is, Pascal, the floor is yours. We spent about 35 minutes already in the show just reminiscing or thinking about what we can or cannot do and so forth, and the language and so forth. The truth of the matter is there's something going on in Haiti right now, and we want to know what's happening, whether or not, I mean, there's a lot of fake news as well, and so it's hard to decipher from YouTube what's what. You are there, you can tell us what's really going on, number one, and number two, how what's happening in Haiti has impacted the nation in general. You're on mute. Pascal, you're on mute.
Pascal, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Okay, you're good. You're
Okay.
good.
First of all, I love that guy, Luis Bermudez.
That's my husband, Pascal. You met him. You met him at Stephanie's house.
Thank
Listen,
you
don't get
very
credit for
much.
Marion Lewis. Don't
Thank
get
you very
credit for
much.
Marion Lewis. Okay? Don't get credit for Marion Lewis. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Well said, Rudy. Well said.
Thank you very much, Luis Bermudez, for your words.
Gracias.
Parce que c'est en fin de compte, c'est ça.
Pascal, you know how to speak English. You can speak English.
Yes, but that's the main problem. Usually, you see, I know that Luis is married to Patty and has a relation with Haiti, but most of the étrangers, there are those who talk better about Haiti than ourselves. And this is the main problem that we had when my sister was Minister of Tourism. We were telling the Haitian, stop talking bad about Haiti, stop spreading bad images about Haiti, because Haiti is not the only country that has all those problems. There are our neighbor of the island has a lot of problems. En Creole because this is very important.
It's okay, Alex. It's okay. I'll translate. It's okay.
Histoire d'Haïti, ok, nous pas suspendre des problèmes en Haïti. Que depuis 1804 nous avons problème, en 1987 nous avons problème. OK, donc nous pas jamais suspendre et gain problème en Haïti, nous toujours fait face à problème ça yo. OK? Et ça pas empêché que nous te vini en Haïti pour nous te visiter. Quand on dit tout pays a un problème, mais nous faire face à yo, c'est pas ça pour empêcher ou pour venir visiter. Moi-même, moi vivre en Haïti. Okay, moi fait 12 ans au Canada, j'ai décidé de vivre en Haïti à partir de 2010. Vous comprenez? Mais quand Rudy dit, m'aller week-end dernier, m'aller pour salut, m'passe 4 jours magnifiques. Pas de problème pour salut, pas de problème nécessairement au Cap. Et là où vini et ou essayer et prendre tout recours qu'il faut pour protéger, premièrement protéger, parce que quel que soit dans le pays qu'on parle, il y a des côtés pour aller, il y a des côtés pour pas aller. Donc, avant tout, moi, je voulais faire un petit résumé pour me dire que bon, c'est dans le tourisme que nous connaissons que nous avons un tour opérateur avec un tour réceptif et que le tourisme, c'est une source de revenus principale en pile pays. Et d'ailleurs, c'était nous-mêmes Haïti qui étaient pionniers tourisme en Haïti dans les années 1970 et 1975. Année ça yo, Haïti ta boom dans le tourisme. C'est nous-mêmes qui vraiment qui t'ai lancé et tourisme. Club Med, premier côté Club Med vini et dans la Caraïbe, c'est en Haïti que t'es venu. Vous connaissez donc tout ça il est important si je tiens effectivement et malheureusement pour nous, la stabilité politique a frappé nous fort. OK, il frappé nous fort depuis juillet 2018 côté nous pays là Côté pas gon union pour que nous tous nous chita et puis nous dit effectivement on ouais pays avant intérêt personnel chaque monde. Et c'est ça plus gros problème et Haïti. Donc depuis juillet 80 et juillet 2018, nous avons un changement de gouvernement, nous avons manifestation, nous avons pas aucun programme qui étudié pour que yo fait long terme. En 5 ans, un président pas qu'à remettre grand chose pour Rudy Tabdi. Il faut un plan directeur qui allait de gouvernement à gouvernement. Vous comprenez? Quel que soit le pays, minimum au gouvernement fait, c'est 2 mandats. Dans le pays, il fait 3 mandats. Vous comprenez? Et puis, ma bon exemple et Cuba, par exemple. Cuba boom dans le tourisme. Cuba a un pile problème. Il y a un pile problème au niveau et social, au niveau comme si on vit avec des moyens réduits. Mais pourtant, plan directeur très clair. Plan directeur c'est éducation, santé, tourisme. Et puis tout le monde c'est là pour aller. Vous comprenez? Et dans ce sens, il y a un ministre du tourisme qui l'a depuis 17 ans. C'est même ministre tourisme qui a suivi même plan directeur ça. Qui doit avoir des petits changements parce que on plan directeur il pas nécessairement besoin d'être stable selon la situation pour aller évoluer tout, mais c'est même plan. Donc c'est ça que nous besoin et en Haïti son stabilité dans tous les sens. Et je dis à nous gain effectivement kidnapping et gang etc. Mais ça pas suspend nous, ça pas empêcher nous vivre et même dit le couillement c'est qu'on s'allier et nous doit vivre différemment là nous dans diaspora moi-même moi de diaspora moi comment ça veut dire là après recevoir une nouvelle dans contexte qui est complètement différent que dans le contexte que nous-mêmes nous vivons en Haïti.
Correct. Correct. But if you don't mind, translate for those who are watching real quick. But I want to say
in a truncated version.
Yes, go ahead.
I watched Louis' eyes, like, what is she saying? So she said Haiti's always had some issues, as you know, prior to 1804, before we got our independence. Also, we had the whole, I guess, second independence of Haiti back in 1986. But we are a people of resiliency. We push on. Similarly to what you said, Louis, and to what Woody have said, this should not stop us from continuing to do what we need to do. She mentioned that she herself have gone to different part of Haiti as late as last week and spent 4 days there. And in that part of Haiti, everything was okay. In the northern part of Haiti, everything's okay, similar to what you guys have said. And then she also mentioned how tourism, as you know, is a primary source of revenue for islands, pretty much. And when you look at a country like Cuba is known for many things that's doing very well, but they also have some areas that they're not doing that well. However, what they do is they concentrate on 3 areas. They concentrate on education, health, and tourism. And those 3 education that they concentrate on are doing very, very well. So what she's saying is that, yes, we do have problems. Yes, we do have some kidnappings going on, but that should not deter us from using the resources of Haiti to get things to where they need to be. And I have to say, to add to what Pascal's saying, yesterday I was talking to her, I think it was around 5 p.m. And she told me, oh, I haven't seen my sister. Now that she's in Haiti, I haven't seen my sister, and my sister and I are going to dinner. And I was like, oh, because I know her sister. I was like, tell her I said hi. Now, in my mind, I'm like, they're going to dinner? I thought Haiti's so bad. Like, how people even go to dinner? So that's just to tell you. And that's what I was thinking. And not just to show you how the way that we conceptualize things in the U.S. In terms of the diaspora and what's perceived for us. Meanwhile, her and I are laughing on the phone, and she's getting ready to go to dinner with her sister in Haiti.
She also made one other really important point about Cuba that I want to say. She said two things that were also really important. One, she also concurred that like one administration can't change, which is like piggybacking off of what I said. The other thing that she said, which I thought was really important, was that one of the focus in Cuba, the Minister of Tourism has been there for 17 years. So that's also a consistency there, right? There's a through line that has happened. So while Cuba has had a lot of the same issues as Haiti, they were really able to hone in and focus and to get people to do tourism there. So again, it's like what I was saying before, that Mexico has issues, but you know, all my timeline this from the summer was Tulum, right? Like, you know, I've been to, not to like make this about me, I've heard things about Kenya. I went to Kibera, which is the largest slum in the continent of Africa. So, you know, we can't allow things to deter us and keep us from progressing. And I agree. She also said something that I thought was really important. She was like, oftentimes you hear Haitians are the ones that are detracting and talking the worst about Haiti, as opposed to people who are non-Haitian, right? So again, if you talk to like some of my friends who are non-Haitian who've been to Haiti, they're like, it's great, it's dope. I was in Kingscliff, I was here. And then you have someone who is Haitian who's like, oh, don't go. Oh, this, oh, that. Like I told you guys the story, and I'm gonna wrap it up so everybody can get into it. But I was in Vermont last year, and while I was in Vermont, there was this woman who happened to be my driver who was Haitian, and she was just so excited to meet like another Haitian. And I was with a group of my friends. We were on vacation doing Vermont stuff, and then I was like with my friends. We were like, oh, we're gonna be going to Haiti. And she switched from English to Creole. Oh, don't go to Haiti with them. And if you go to Haiti, make sure you take them only to the nice parts. And I was like, that in that moment, right? Like she just like switched up, and there was this fear. And again, you know, like I know people who are Chinese who would never tell their kids that, who would never tell their kids, don't take your friends to China because of XYZ. Don't take your kids to this because of XYZ. And they're teaching their kids Chinese. I know y'all want to talk about the language thing, but that's really important, right? Like, you know, Spanish people, I don't care what country you're from, they're teaching their kids Spanish in the house because they figure you're going to speak English outside of the home. So when we talk about what it is that we can do, we as Haitian Americans have to do better. And that's the first step.
Okay. I agree. I want to piggyback on something that I think Pascal mentioned that I find very interesting. Because again, as we were preparing for today's show, we spent countless of hours reading and researching to find out what's really going on. And everything that you were able to see were negative. But I'm hearing right now from someone who's actually there to say, don't believe the hype. And so I think I'm glad that we have a platform that's actually saying something different today. But we're also putting together a challenge, and I want to say there's a challenge that's being sent out there to all of us who are Haitian and have children growing up in this country. That's not an excuse for them not to speak the language. So what I'm hearing is we need to do better to make sure that our children speak the language and understand what's happening in our country. Having said all that, the truth of the matter is this. The things that we are seeing online, are those things make believe, or are those things really happening in the country? Are the people in Haiti, I'm talking about the mass. I'm not talking about those who have enough money to go and have dinner and all those nice things that some of us are able to do. I'm talking about the mass. Are they being affected in a way that perhaps that's what the media, the Haitian media, is pushing forward? Or are they doing a disservice to these people as well, saying that the reality of what life is for these people, they're showing a picture that is not true? If they are not showing a picture that is not true, then there is still something that needs to be done. We need to figure out what that is. Pascal?
With my mic, and I didn't hear what was it a question? Sorry.
Asking is we spent about a week or two researching what's really happening in Haiti, and the pictures and everything that we have gathered is negative. And we appreciate you for coming and sharing and shedding light on some of those things. Having said all that, though, I want to know whether or not what we are seeing or the news that we are watching, are those make believe, or are the people in Haiti really suffering to the extent that it's being shown right now?
Yes, it's true. We are facing right now a situation that it's very unfortunate, and we need, definitely we have to address that. But in the within the Association Touristic of Haiti, we are working towards that. We are meeting with the Ministry of Tourism, we are meeting with the Ministry of Health, and we had a big meeting with the president and some of the minister as well. We all are aware about the situation, and we know that this situation cannot um, can has to have an end for it, because we will not survive if we don't see another way to do at least business in Haiti, or survive in Haiti, or live in Haiti, but as I was saying, it's not the first time that we have problems in Haiti, and we've we've faced it, and we have find some kind of solution. It's not like we c'est pas comme si nous solutionner, c'est comme si nous patcher nous patcher solution, et puis nous continuer. So this is the main problem. We have to face the big problems that we've been having for so long, and
What are the big problems?
What?
What are the big problems?
I think for me the big problem is that we have to to at least find a way to unite the Asian people. But let me take an example. For so long, the diaspora was like kind out of everything that has or every main decision for Haiti. But the diaspora is the one that is helping us survive in Haiti. Without the diaspora, without the money of the diaspora, we will not be able to be here, and right now the new constitution, the good thing about the proposal of the new constitution is to finally include the diaspora. Once we have the diaspora include in our new constitution, I know that we will be talking about the new constitution, because the constitution of 87 has so many problems but has good thing on it. And the new proposal has good things, such as include the diaspora in everything, but has also a bad thing on it. So I was talking to Patty yesterday, and she was telling me how we can participate for that change. I was telling Patty, there is a lot of associations such as Association Touristic of Haiti, that you can be part of it and you can participate, you can give your experience, and from there you will know so many things that is happening to Haiti, and not only follow things that people are telling you or the media is telling you that can be accurate or not, or exaggerate, you know. So right now the situation, we have a critical situation, but we are not pessimist. We are, I don't know how do you say pessimist, but we are positive that we will find a way to go through that, because we have to. We can do. We cannot. There is no way that Haiti will die from this, you know. And so I think we have to include the diaspora, and this is the main, for me, is very important, this decision about the constitution.
Woody?
So I just want to have clarity, because I know that you said include the diaspora. I've been reading that means that people who are, I'm assuming, still citizens of Haiti have a say-so in the next elections that are coming. So if you can give us a little clarity on what that means, and how do you think that will be impactful to what's happening in Haiti? Because I don't want it to be, so we'll go into that before I go any further.
Rudy.
That's fine. That's
No,
fine.
that's
I know that you and I talked about that at length yesterday, because that's something that's very important to us today.
Exactly. Je dis, c'est responsabilité chaque Haïtien pour prendre connaissance de qui sa nouvelle constitution a impliqué pour nous chaque Haïtien, que ce soit dans un pays étranger ou que ce soit ici en Haïti. C'est extrêmement important parce que c'est base même, c'est base même qui permet tout développer ou pas développer un pays. Donc, à titre de même, pas joindre constitution ou nouvelle proposition constitution. On dit oui, mais nous avons ambassade, nous avons consulat. Donc, ambassade avec consulat, tu es censé, comme si, bon, nous, possibilité et gain constitution dans nous, et puis pour nous connaître qui sa constitution ça y est. Nous-mêmes dans ATH, par exemple, malheureusement, pas de parler avec parti pour nous inviter nous dans 2 forums que nous faisons, et il y a une pilote association qui a fait conscientisation ça, et parce que même nous-mêmes dans l'association touristique là, c'est pas que nous comprenons constitution, nous obligés faire appel à un avocat qui pourrait expliquer nous qui bon et qui ça pas bon dans nouvelle proposition constitution. Donc nous avons fait 2 forums côté, et nous avons deux avocats qui viennent expliquer nous mais qui ça qui bon mais qui ça qui pas bon et dans constitution. Tout résultat qui va sortir de ça, on peut partager là avec nous, et par la suite pour nous connaître et bon, du moins pour nous prendre information. Mais c'est une responsabilité de nous-mêmes, de chaque, comme si Woody va chercher connaître, Patty va chercher connaître, et ça doit venir de chacun de nous-mêmes. Chercher, nous connaissons que information, et Patty t'a dit ça, dit Pascal, moi faire recherche et sur internet, moi pas joindre information. Vous connaissez que c'est pas facile, mais toujours en façon en Haïti pour joindre information de pour besoin. Donc avec ça déjà.
Okay, so yeah, I can understand that. Nkako pon ke se tako se devwanu, right? But ntawe make like clarify li pa inclut takou moi-même qui fait ici. Li ta supposé inclut takou maman avec papa qui still gen yo pa citizen Haitien, encore yo citizen américain, but di ko sa son moun qui te vini ici, qui gen 7-10 ans ici, qui poko gen citizen United States, est-ce ki yo ka vote non eleksyon ki ap fet an Haiti? Se keksyon mta ap de genyen.
Could somebody do that in English in a very, very short sentence?
In a very, very short way. I was asking her to clarify because my question is that in the new constitution, does it say, when they talk about the diaspora, are they saying that Haitian Americans, like someone like me, I was born in the United States, would I have a say so in the elections that are happening in Haiti? That's what I wanted clarity on. And because they're saying that they want to include people in the diaspora. So even like my parents who are no longer Haitian citizens, like what is it? And what she's suggesting is that we should do the homework to figure out what is in the Constitution, and that it is our job as Haitian Americans or Haitian Canadians or Haitian French, wherever you are, to know what's happening in the new Constitution. And she's also saying that, like, while it's difficult for us to maybe find out, you can go to your Haitian consulate, your Haitian embassy, you can make phone calls, you can speak to a lawyer, but it is our job to know. So I just wanted to know if she knew, because like I tried to find that out and I couldn't.
Yeah. I spoke, so if I could answer, go ahead, Louis.
Thanks. Because there's a lot of things I want to get into. I would like to try to get in, because I don't think that this Constitution is a means to an end, and I would like to express
she never
why.
said that. She's
No. I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth. I'm just speaking my mind. Historically, not only in the United States, but throughout all known history, documents flow from the people. The documents don't create the ideology of the people. So when the Civil Rights Act was signed, it was signed because people just decided we're going to have civil rights whether you sign a document or not.
Right.
The law ending slavery was signed because people said slavery's about to end whether you guys write it down or not. The issue with Haiti is not government corruption. It's not. It is, and I throughout history, Black people have this thing where we need to be together and we need to be like-minded, and that's not entirely true. I think Cuba is an excellent blueprint because Cuba is a very poor country that is doing, like you guys said, 3 things very well. And if you guys just picked 2 things and started there, there are, like, what are the 2 things that Haiti could do? That would be a great start, I think.
So for Ludi, I know that Pascal and I spoke about the whole diaspora stuff and the Constitution, because actually she invited me yesterday to a Constitution meeting. And I actually attended it as much as I could yesterday afternoon. The thing with the current Constitution or the new Constitution is that in terms of people like myself that was born in Haiti, but I left here early, people like your parents, is that, and I think that even happened when Wycliffe was trying to maybe trying to go for presidency in Haiti, is that one of the stipulation is that you need to live in Haiti, reside in Haiti for 5 consecutive years. So for me, I've left Haiti like 30 something years ago. So I wouldn't even be able to vote in anything that Haiti's doing, even though I was born in Haiti, because I haven't lived in Haiti for 5 consecutive years for a long time. So I know we were talking about that and how we truly want to help, because Pascal, I know for me, I've done a lot of different back and forth to Haiti. I'm trying to be as transparent about Haiti to people. And I would like to have a blueprint and help out. But without having much say from the diaspora, I don't know how to do that.
Who on this call is willing to send $1,000 a year to the Haitian government?
I've done it.
Is it
No, no,
going
no,
to go to
no,
the
no.
Haitian government?
Well, that's another thing. And I think I spoke to Pascal about it yesterday. One of the major issue that Haitian people have is we don't trust each other. We don't trust. See, like Cynthia said, eventually we will have to trust. We can't rebuild Haiti with no trust.
Yeah, but
What
Cindy,
was Lewis's
what
question?
does that mean? Sorry, go ahead, Cynthia. You had asked something, or Luby. I don't want to.
No, I just need clarification on Lewis's question because we all went on attack. Like, what was the question?
No, I want to know what it means.
Who's willing to pay $1,000 annual tax that goes to the country of Haiti?
Oh, I would pay now
I
annual.
would say.
I mean, are
Okay.
we sure
I don't think the problem.
this is
helping Haiti? Because I think we're all looking for, as diaspora, whatever we call ourselves, diaspora. But
sorry about that. Can you guys hear me?
yes,
Yes.
If that's one of the
Can
ways,
you guys hear me? Okay, sorry.
Yes.
if that's
You
one of the ways
make a
that we can help
contribution.
Haiti,
You form an alliance. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You form an alliance and you say, look, we're going to create a group that pools money from the diaspora, and here is the tribunal that's going to make sure that the money is properly appropriated. Problem solved. Next problem. Let's move on.
that
Can I
is
say-
I mean,
can I
because
say this?
everybody's
That's
giving
not
their
how that works.
emotions and
One
conjecture
of
about
the
the
problems.
problems, and I think everybody knows the problems. Let's start fixing the
No,
problems.
Yeah, I think
that's how that works.
no.
Okay, so we saying a lot, guys, and I think we all means well, but the reality is, I'm still trying to understand how do you change the mindset
Thank
of
you.
people,
Yes.
because when people feel that they are entitled to take money that's not for them, they're gonna take it whether you like it or not. When you have government that's corrupted, where the money comes in. I mean, look what happened after the earthquake. We have a perfect example how much money went into this country, but yet the people never experienced any. The mass didn't see any of it. They didn't. So it's. I don't know if we're gonna solve that right here, but what
But
I'm
Monday,
thinking, what I'm trying to say is, if we wait for the government to be better before we can develop something that didn't exist before, it will never happen. So what I'm suggesting is that, as corrupted as the government is, if we're talking about what can we do as the diaspora, I think Lois is suggesting perhaps we should be the one to begin to create something that maybe wasn't there before, and also put people in place that can, just like we do here in the U.S. I mean, you want to build a company, you set up parameters, you set up things in place, you set up check and balance to make sure that the money goes to where it's supposed to go. And if you steal from it, you get arrested, you get thrown away in jail. I mean, it's easy as that. So we can't fix the government. We can't
Monday.
fix the government, but what we can do is begin to figure out what can we do to create things that are tangible that can be done.
Cynthia, go. Cynthia's been dying.
No, I'm not to, listen. I am sorry. It's not. I don't agree with what we're saying. We cannot see Haiti through the lens of the United States. Like you said, Monday, there's more we have to do. The mindset. We have to understand the people of Haiti has been suffering for years and years and years. There's the government that they have right now is not stable. You have people who has degrees, okay? A bachelor, a master cannot eat in Haiti. They are working and they cannot feed their family. So to create this, imaginary business that we have here in the United States, and then to bring it to a country where there was never a structure and government, and then to just split, it's not going to. I don't want to be the one that say, oh no, it's not going to work. But it has to be the mindset of the people For example, I think during Martelly presidency, they asked him why did he spend that much money to fix a bridge. He said if you fix the he spent a couple $1 billion or whatever amount of money that he spent. The people were furious because it's like, why would you spend that much money but we are hungry? So if you fix the roads, people can travel from Port-au-Prince to go to the countryside, to the province, without their car being broken. That can bring revenue to the tourists that Pascal was talking about, to build schools for kids. So they don't have the mindset that, oh my gosh, that much money is being spent, because they're not aware. The government is not teaching the people, okay, what is it to have a stable government? This is what we need. Right now, if I want to go to Haiti and say, okay, let me pack up and go, my degree that I have, I cannot do anything because there's nothing in place. Like, I will have to start from scratch. And to me, it's just the mindset. We have to change the mindset. Yes, I agree that we can't keep putting Haiti down, which every time I speak proudly of Haiti. And then one thing I think we said, we compare Cuba. Yes, Cuba is doing well, but we have to be mindful as well that Cuba is under it's a communist country. They've been under dictatorship of Fidel Castro. I know they're no longer in power, but they still have power. They no longer represent the government, but they still have power. Like you said, Pascal, the tourism director of Cuba has been there for 17 years. What can we say about Haiti? If the president cannot even finish 5 years, I'm not for him. I'm not endorsing him, like Rudy said, but he cannot finish. No president in Haiti has, besides Martelly, has completed a full term since the fall of Duvalier. It's always been a coup d'etat. It's always been this. There's never been a fully complete government besides Martelly, and it's by the strength of his teeth that he completed a full term. Because when things is not going the way the Haitian people want it to go, they revolt, and then it's okay to revolt. It's okay to have, to express. But when you're burning down the same, established that's going to help you, how are you going to find the money to rebuild? I mean, I'm done. I'm sorry, y'all.
No,
No. It's
So,
can I just say something?
can I?
Because
Yes.
you say something that speaks
Yes.
value. How do you change the mindset of the people? I truly believe that we can. It begins with each of us. Number one, whether you are in the diaspora or you are in Haiti, you have to change the way you think about yourself. Haitian people need to change the way they feel and they think about themselves. Number one, right? If you keep telling yourself that you are the poorest country in the world, and I hate when Haitian even use that term, right? You act like it. You treat your country like it. They don't need to wait for the government to clean up where they live. They can do that themselves. We can do that. We don't need the government to clean the country. If every Haitian really care and say, you know what, we're gonna start by cleaning this country, we can do it. Number two, we can change our language, change the way we talk to each other. Stop, using whether it's skin color or whether it's class. Change the way we talk about one another. We have to change our mindset. Determine. I think it's called determine the way your mindset and determine what your mindset is and act upon it. I'm sorry, right? You act upon it. In other words, you begin to say, okay, this is what I want to achieve. All right. Earlier you mentioned even if it's one thing, right? We have a guest here who's saying even if we only focus on just that one thing, let's focus on it. Let's do it. Let's do it well. There was a time Haiti was very good at
Exactly.
producing rice, and guess what happened? We allowed government to come and say, that we were producing 80 to 90% of rice, right? You know how much production we're doing right now? 18%. The rest of it is coming from the US to
China
production.
and
Okay,
China.
exactly. So we have to change that. I mean, we used to be the ones supplying it, but now we're buying it from another country. That's ridiculous. And then learn and apply all countries, all of the other countries that we know of, they send kids from their country to the US or to Japan or to wherever to go and learn and then come back to their own country and build. We can do the same thing. We can send Haitian. We have a lot of smart people in Haiti who will be more than happy to come and spend 4, 5, 6 years here and learn a skill that they can go back and implement in Haiti. So changing the mindset requires work. But what I'm trying to say is if we keep saying we can change the mindset, I'm saying yes, we can. It begins with us. We have to surround ourselves with people who think like us. Maybe, I mean, when I say think like us, they may not agree with everything you say, but at least they have the desired mindset to do the things that we agreed upon to do. So habits has to change, but we can definitely change the mindset of a people. It's possible.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
I agree totally with Mandy and with Luis, and I think we have to choose our battles and go step by step because, as you said, Rudy, in one day or in one term, in 10 years or in 15 years, we will not change Haiti like this. You know, we have to have a strategy. And right now, thank God, the new constitution give you the right to do it or the right to implement yourself. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of information about what implication the new constitution have for the diaspora. But I will do my work. I will send you the text that refers to the diaspora. We will translate it for you. And from there, you have to make your voice count because it's very important for the diaspora to be implicated on that. It will be your future, our future, and to bring some strategy together so we can succeed. You know, and as Rudy was saying, we have to choose one thing and be successful on this. Is we can choose to nettoyer en ville. Et puis Patty comes with Luis and we come with Charles and we clean the city and we go to explore and do tourism as well. You know, you can mingle both, but there is so much to do. But we have to have a strategy for it, and give everybody each responsibility. Let's say communication. Let's change the mind of our diaspora. Let's put some words on la bouche diaspora. Vous connaissez?
Yeah.
C'est vrai.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true that everybody is like, nous bouquet, by Haitian chance. But there's a lot of things that we can say. We can say no bouquet, but we will do this for Haiti. By Haiti en chance, bon, okay, make it que na by Haiti en chance. It has to have a positive connotation when you say something negative. And Luis Bermudez was talking about Haiti and was saying good things about Haiti, but he's not Haitian. Why we have to leave not Haitian people talking about good things about Haiti? I know he's married with a Haitian beautiful woman, but he's why he has to be the one talking good about Haiti? We have to change the perception and the image about Haiti. Like my grandmother was saying, bagay rad sal nou lave yo entre nou. Ok? Comme si moun yo pa bezwen nécessairement koné ki mauvais bagay ke gen. C'est nous même pour résoudre li. Et puis ensuite pour nous voir comment nous ca comment nous ca impliquer nous. Vous comprenez? Donc, moi dit moi comme tu as dit parti, moi disponible, disposé pour moi ca participer dans quelque soit stratégie que nous avons gagné. Et parce que c'est vers là pour nous aller. Donc, m'a fait travail, m'a envoyé information parti nous yoli. Et puis de là, moi, en fin de compte, c'est une number qui est plus important aujourd'hui. Nouvelle constitution que vous proposez, pour que chaque haïtien chercher connaître qui s'allier impliqué, parce que 27 juin, avec ou sans voix nous, référendum l'a fait. Donc, si nous pas participer, si nous pas bailler nous, si nous pas faire bruit d'elle, la passer exactement janvier.
Pascal, is it, and I know Louis, you're on the go. I'm going to allow you to go soon. Pascal, did you say 27th of June or 27th of April?
27th of June. So we have until April 30 to give our comments on it.
Okay.
And
Cal?
through ATH, you can send all your comments, and we will be more than happy to include it in the presentation that we will send.
Okay. Cal?
I'm just gonna be real quick because I know I'm not in order. Louis, you got next, but I think Haiti stepped away from what's on the flag when it says La Union fait la force, because we don't move together. We're not moving as a union, and I think that's one of the biggest problems. There's distrust, like we've been saying, with the government and the people and things of that sort. For me, that's the underlying problem. We can't trust who is in charge of the country to make decisions for the people. Part two, I got a lot of smoke for a lot of things that people have been saying, but we're already at about 1 hour and 30. I know we're going to have a part two on this show, and it's coming. I just want everybody to know that. Part three, I have my plane ticket to go to Haiti in August. So nous pas parler avec, donc on pas ça pour me faire, you know what I'm saying?
Dio, Michael, Dio.
Yeah, remember this is a recorded show. So I'm gonna stop.
I'm gonna let Louis go. No. I'm gonna let Louis go. When we have part two, I'm gonna give y'all the rest of what I'm gonna give y'all.
I need you to tell me, what does the coat of arms say again?
I'm going.
What does it say it again?
I'm gonna turn my.
No, what does it say again?
He's going.
You can't give the note.
L'union.
He said La Union fait la force. I let it slide.
Hey, listen, French is not his first language, so
no,
you know a lot of people don't.
No, I don't want to hear that. You got to, if you're gonna come on here and give smoke, give the coat of arms right. That's the least you can do. Sorry, Louis, go ahead.
No, you can't. You're muted.
You're mute. There you go. Oh, wait, you okay, yeah.
It's good.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm good. Stop looking to the government. I understand the ideology. I really do, but it only takes a few people with an idea to do something big. To build a road that goes from the airport in Port-au-Prince to a nice resort where people can sit by the sea and sip drinks and eat excellent food. If you get the right people involved, you can change everything, the mindset, the resources. It's a long conversation, but the only thing that makes the conversation long is the mindset of the people who want to fix the problem.
Yes.
56 guys formed the United States of America, and at the time that they did it, the population of the 13 colonies was over 3.5 million. 56 guys created the mindset of 3.5 million people. And if you look at the rise of France. If you look at Germany, who went from a barbaric people to a nation, if you look at the rise of Germany, a gentleman who, there are some good and bad examples, but as far as the way that you change the mindset of a people is not by having that conversation. You just start doing, and people will follow. If you put 100 Haitians in a room and ask the question, what's wrong with Haiti? You're going to get people who have a lot to say. And if the next question was, what are you doing right now to change it? It would be a quiet room.
Yep. 100%.
And that's the problem.
And I'll say.
I have someone from Facebook that says we can do a positive campaign that changes the worldview of Haiti, then move to another campaign. Have a seat at the table to make changes.
I agree. And this is why we're here. Again, this is part one. We're definitely going to plan a part two to this conversation where we can begin to look at, based on what Pascal shared with us, what exactly we ourselves can do to continue this movement. Again, it's not just saying "NOU BOUKE," but it's saying "NOU BOUKE," but this is what I'm doing about it. Wendy?
Okay, well, yeah, we both have some things to say. I think it has to be a multiple pronged approach. If we say that the government doesn't matter, all of it does. The mindset and the government, unless we're tearing down the government completely. And from an American perspective, when we think about, I don't even want to say revolution, but revolution of thought, I think it takes a lot more than just, especially because we are the diaspora. We don't live in Haiti. When we think about what needs to be done and what we can do as a diaspora, part of that is communicating with the government, because that is where our focus can be, because we aren't on the grounds, we aren't able to be in the country. And on top of that, there are outside agitators, America included, that we could include.
Yes.
Talk about that. And American Haitians need to talk to the American government about stepping off, because they are a foot on Haiti's neck.
Not just the United States, by the way, but yes, this is why we need a part two. Sorry, Wendy, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I do understand what everyone is saying. Like, it should start essentially with the people.
The people have started it.
But yeah, they've
Time and time
started it.
again.
And also, there comes to a point, how can they start it if they're starving? How can they start it if they do not even have the funds to do these things? If they don't even have the ability to get groceries, you cannot expect them to want to start a revolution, or not even start a revolution, to want to start in their own town to, oh, well, let's try to clean it up ourselves. I want to be like, oh, it doesn't fall on the people, but at the same time, it doesn't. It's the government. We shouldn't have other hands playing into the government that's continuing to let the people suffer. I know as people in the diaspora, we should be doing more. We should be more vocal about what we can vocalize and what we can do for the people in Haiti that can.
I know. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that, like, I think Mela was right. What we're seeing is that revolution.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing down on the ground right now. I think one of the problems that we are not, and it hasn't come up because I think, like, this show, we had a lot of people on, we had a lot of different emotions, but that revolution or the manifestation that's been happening in Haiti has been going on for a while. And if we want to talk about the U.S. involvement, we have to talk about how the U.S. media hadn't focused on it until a couple celebrities did hashtags. But I look at, like, what happened in Hong Kong. That was on the news consistently for a really long time. So what's the difference between what happened in Hong Kong and what was happening in Haiti, right? And so, again, there is a revolution that's happening, and it is by those same hungry people. Now, if we want to talk about other projects and things like that, I get that, like, we can't just like say, well, Haitian people, here's a list of things that you can do. Go ahead and do it, right? Because like if I'm hungry, I'm not going to go to a beach or a town and clean up. I'm going to try to think, how can I feed my children? So there are different things to do. I know Patty's going to do a closure real quick, but I do want to say is that it seems to me that wrapping it up, there are things that we can do here. And I think that we should focus and find it and come up with a plan, especially for young people. You know, there are things that you can do, spread awareness, find local organization. There are also kind of like activist tourism groups that go to Haiti. Find those. They, you know, you can go to an orphanage, you can clean a town, you can do a lot of different things. So one of the things I think that we should do is just do more work on our end on how we can help this place that we essentially want to call home, right? Like that's the dream. So Patty, go ahead.
Thank you. Pascal said, unfortunately, I guess she lost signal. So she did say she would like for us to have a show under Constitution only, where she can actually, and hopefully with one of the attorneys, go into what that Constitution is about so that people are more aware and that they will be able to hopefully make a difference and understand what this Constitution is about. So Monday, we can talk about that more. But in terms of, this is going to be in Creole and English. So, mwen tap mwen de tèt mwen, comment pou mwen clôturer session sa. So I was asking myself, how should I end this session? Alors, mwen deside nan yon bagay très simple. So therefore, I decided to use something simple. Les mots de la Dessalinienne, the Haitian anthem. So a little bit of verses from the Haitian anthem. Pour Haïti, pays ancêtre. For Haiti, our ancestors' country. C'est pour marcher main dans la main. We should walk hand in hand. Nan mi tan, pa tête, pa fête pour get traite. There must not be traitors among us. Remember, there must not be traitors amongst us. Nous faites pour nous seuls mettre tête nous. We must be our own leaders. Remember that. We must be our own leaders. En marche main dans la main. Let's walk hand in hand. Pour Haïti k'avin pi belle, so that Haiti can be better, more beautiful. En met tête nous ensemble. Let's put our heads together. Nous gen drapeau, tant que tout peuple. We have a flag, just like everybody. C'est pour nous aimer, mourir pour lui. We must love it, we must die for it. C'est pour nous travailler, mettre tête ensemble. We must work, put our heads together. Pour l'autre pays qui a respecté drapeau nous, so that other countries can respect our flag. Drapeau, c'est l'issa qui se nomme tout haïtien. The flag is our Haitian nucleus. My own words, nous sommes un peuple qui est très fier. We are very proud people. Nous sommes premier people noirs, nous sommes premier peuple qui prend indépendance nous. We are the first Black nation to gain our independence. En nous mettre tête nous ensemble, let's put our heads together. Que dit pauvre, whether poor, que dit riche, whether wealthy, que dit noir, whether dark or black, que dit grimel, whether blanc or just light skin, que dit éduqué, whether educated, que dit sans éducation, whether not educated. Pour nous rebâtir Haïti, to rebuild Haiti. Pour nous retirer peuple dans grand goût, dans désespérance. To remove, to eliminate hunger and despair from the people. Pour Haïti, qu'à retourner la perle des Antilles, so that Haiti can return to being the
pearl of the Antilles.
The pearl of the West Indies. Thank you.
Antilles.
Yes, Antilles. Moi connais nous bouquet. I know that we're tired, but c'est pas impossible pour nous dire yes we can. Therefore, it's not impossible to say, I know we're tired, but it's not impossible to say yes we can. We, nous capables rebâtir Haïti. Yes we can rebuild Haiti. Thank you.
Amen. 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 Well said. Well said, Pat. And with this, we want to say thank you to all of you who were able to watch the show on YouTube. I understand Facebook was giving the issue, and we apologize for that, but that's the way it is with technology. You never know. But for those of you who are able to stick to it till the end, we want to say thank you so much. We appreciate you. And we want to remind you we will be back here next week at 12 for another episode here on The Remedy. But before you go, I'd like to pray with you. Yes, Woody?
Now I was going to say, who knew Patty was a poet?
Yeah. Yeah. Father God, we just want to say thank you so much. There is still so much to be done. And you're not gonna come from heaven and do it for the Haitian people. We can pray for safety, but then you're gonna turn around and say, if each of us care for one another, we can provide safety to each other. And so, Lord, I understand the power of prayer, but when we pray to you, what you do, you just open up our eyes so that we can begin to see the need of your people, and our hearts may be moved and begin to do what we can to take care of those that we call our own. Bless this beloved country. May you continue to be with the leaders. They have a responsibility to take care of this country, Lord. May they remain faithful to you and faithful to their calling. We bless you. We thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Until next time, family,
Amen.
be safe.
Bye.
Bye.